my son, come here. It is time you learn who you really are and where you come from. It is not from here. No, not from here. It is from a place in which you have truly never left. Your father died in battle protecting others, but you wield his power so that you can be a light to guide others. You must become the light and be the shield that protects those who need it most. You are the shield. Hey everyone, it's Area of Effect with another out-of-the-box build, this time a healer, a shield stacking healer, able to equip your allies with up to 7 shields simultaneously, mitigating their damage before they even take it. Let's take a look at the stat screen now. We've got over 32,000 max magicka, almost 2,500 recovery, 2k spell damage, 42% crit, and our resistance is pretty beefy for a healer. So pretty good stats. The Mundus we're using is the Atronach. In PvE, if you want to go ahead and use the Thief for more crit, that'll be good for this build. In PvE, use the Clockwork if you'd like. In PvP, definitely use the Bewitched Sugar Skulls. That's what I was using in those clips. You need more stamina. Let's take a look at the gear now. I have 2 options for gear setup. They're pretty similar with just a little tweak. We'll go over the first one now. Ice Staff of Imperium. That's going to be our first 5-piece. When you take damage, you're going to deal out a 15,000k damage shield. And then on the other bar, it's going to be the Restoration Staff of Combat Physician. I have that as decisive from our alt gen. Our monster set is, we get to wear a monster set in the first setup. The second setup, you won't have a monster set, and you'll see why. Infernal Guardian's a great one because when you cast a shield, you're throwing out some mortars. It's great for PvP. If you didn't want to use that in PvE, you could use the monster set Ice Heart from another damage shield and more crit, or you could use Bloodspawn for more alt gen. We're wearing Imperium rings, keeping them off of our body with 1 piece on our body on the chest for the heavy piece. So we have light 5-piece light armor. And you saw that I was wearing the Pearls of Elfany, Elfman. And that's going to give you ultimate gen every time you cast a heal while under 30% your primary resource, magicka. Combat Physician is going to dish out a 6,000 plus point damage shield every time you crit heal an ally. And that's going to be individual cooldowns. It didn't used to be this way. People have talked about maybe prayer shawl, but the thing is with prayer shawl, you have to overheal them, meaning that basically they're full health, then they get a heal tick and it procs, and it's doable. I almost went that direction, but I like the idea of Combat Physician just due to the fact that in more rigorous battles, if they're not staying at full health, you're getting a lot more ticks from it. So, all right, let's take a look at the second setup now. On this setup, we actually have Imperium on the Resto Staff, not the Ice Staff. It's powered. You could make this precise for more crit or decisive for more alt gen. But Imperium is now on our Resto bar. This is going to put Combat Physician's 5 pieces on our body at all times, never toggling off, as opposed to the previous setup. See, we have a head of Combat Physician, and we end up having a shoulder of Combat Physician. We don't wear a monster set. But we want to do this this way. You'll see for the reason in just a minute. But with this setup, we don't ever have to toggle off Combat Physician. We'll have a better uptime, and the ticks will happen more often. Curious of the Imperium. If we're going to wear it on our body, we need to have it on our boots, chest or pants, the heavy pieces. Epaulets of Combat Physician, sash, gloves, as you see, breeches, and then of course I will have boots of Imperium. That makes too heavy on our body, and this is where another difference comes into play. So head, chest, shoulders, waist, legs, pants, and boots. We have the necklace in the same spot. We want to get that ultimate gen. Remember, you can gain 5 ultimate every time you cast an ability while under 30% your primary resource. So in a way, it helps to spam a cheap heal on purpose in the middle of battle just to soar with that ultimate. Now, here we go. Potentates. We've got a ring. It usually would be healthy. We transmuted it to infused, and it's got a magicka recovery glyph. Reduces your damage taken by players from 3% and reduces the cost of ultimate by 15%. But as you saw, we're not getting the 2 or 3 bonus. But that's because when we switch to our other bar, which is going to be our Ice Staff, there's Resto of Imperium, Ice Staff of the Potentates, we will have 15% reduced ultimate cost. So we can slot Barrier, or we can slot Magma Shell, and we will get a big chunk off of that cost, keeping our uptime of that shield. So there it's decisive as well for more alt gen. But when I equip the ice staff, you'll see now it is active. And this is quite major. This is 15%. It will take Magma Shell from 200 cost to 170. It'll take Barrier from 250 cost to 212. And if you look, so Potentates and Decisive and having that Pearls necklace, all of that ultimate cost reduction is going to keep our uptime of our ultimates, which is a huge beefy shield. And you get your resources back as a Dragon Knight. So let's jump into the skills now. First skill on the Resto bar, Ward Ally. A 6,000 point damage shield, but the lower health your ally is, the bigger and beefier the shield will be. It's quick to cast, it's got a pretty good range on it, and it delivers a shield to not only them, but you as well. So that's pretty cool. Just about everything you do for them on this setup, you'll be getting as well. Next skill, Radiating Regen. 16,000 health over 10 seconds, up to 3 allies. What's great about that is that's going to be pretty much your intelligent heal over time, or as they call hot. So basically Combat Physician is going to get most of its procs from Radiating Regen. They don't have to like run through your field. This will stay on them for 10 seconds. Next skill, a Dragon Knight heal, Cauterize. Every 5 seconds a big chunk of healing. This could crit on your allies for a bigger chunk of heal. But while it's slotted, we get Major Prophecy, which is going to increase our spell crit, which is going to increase the Combat Physician's proc percentage. So Combat Prayer is the next skill. You got to have this, almost a 5,000 point bursty heal, but also the 2 buffs that the allies are getting is what we're going after. They're getting Minor Resolve and Minor Ward, up to 3,000 almost. Physical and Spell Resistance. This used to be like 1,300 before the change last patch. And they're getting Minor Berserk, increasing all their damage output by 5%. The last skill, Fragmented Shield, a very important one. It not only gives you a shield, but all your allies a shield. It's not a huge one, but it is one that they get to add on top of all the rest. And more importantly, as a healer, it's going to give you Major Mending, increasing all your heals output by 25%. So keep that constantly going, and that's also going to replenish stamina to us as a Dragon Knight passive, Helping Hands. The ultimate on this bar is Barrier. That's going to hand out a 30,000 point damage shield to you and all your allies, as well as 15,000 health over 15 seconds. So keeping that up is obviously going to go a long way with our shields. The next skill on the other bar, this is the Ice Staff now. Energy Orb. It's going to heal every half second, 800 health, which is kind of cool. You get a lot more ticks, 2 ticks a second. But it also, as it moves through, it offers a synergy to everybody. And they can synergize for a big burst of heal, as well as some of their main resource, whether it be Magicka or Stamina. The next skill on the Ice Staff bar is Blockade of Frost. This now is going to give our allies a 6,643 point damage shield for projectiles. The awesome thing about this is that the ally does not have to be within the location of your blockade. They can be behind you, they can be to the left of you. It makes no difference. Everybody in the area will get that shield. The next skill, Bone Surge, it's a stamina costing skill. Gives you an 8,000 point damage shield. It offers the Spinal Surge synergy to you and your allies. When they synergize with it, they get a damage shield that is 36% of their max health, as well as Major Vitality, increasing all of their healing received by 16%. So with Fragmented Shields, Major Mending, and Bone Surge's Major Vitality, we are really able to beef up our healing numbers. The next skill, Igneous Weapons. You and your allies within a pretty good range will get Major Sorcery and Major Brutality for 54 seconds. It's going to increase your healing output as well. The last skill, Hardened Armor. This is going to give us our Major Resolve and Major Ward, increasing our physical and spell resistance by 6,000 almost, as well as a near 4,000 point damage shield, as you see. Only we get that damage shield, but it's nice. Remember, shield strengths take on your resistances, so your physical and spell resistances will play into the thickness of your shield. The ultimate on this bar is Magma Shell. It costs 200. You limit all incoming damage to 3% of your max health. You deal flame damage around you in an AoE, but also allies get a damage shield up to 123% of their max health. We get that extra 23% from the champion point Bastion. You invest into Bastion. If not, you'd have 100%. So this is pretty awesome. It's also going to restore your resources. It makes you not invincible, but darn near. I mean, it looks awesome too, by the way, but no, any damage you take, it could be from a Dawnbreaker or an Ice Comet, it's going to only equal up to 3% of your max health as you take it. But again, all allies are going to get a damage shield of 123% of their health, which is pretty similar to probably Barrier, as Barrier is a 30,000 point. Someone has like 25,000 health, then, you know, Magma Shell is going to give them almost the same value without the healing. Now, as a Dragon Knight, there are a couple more heals in our arsenal. I love the Cinderstorm skill. It's got a pretty good range. It reduces the enemy's movement speed, but it also heals for 1470 every second. It'll actually heal for more if I stomp here, but and give myself major mending. But as you see, it looks pretty cool. It's like a little volcano splashing and splotching. Pretty good range. And if you wanted to replace Radiating Regen with this in PvE, if people are standing in safe areas, then by all means do so. Or you could take off Major Resolve and Major Ward from the Hardened Armor and put on this instead, and have both Radiating Regen and Cinderstorm. Now I wanted to give an example here of how often these shields proc. If you look at my health bar, it's got a pink frosty cover. Now you see some red as I take damage. So all the shields I get here, basically every other ally will get as well, because they're all sourced for multiple people. So you can kind of see I'm not even using my ultimate, which I have Magma Shell if I wanted to use it. I'm literally just standing, and I turned off Infernal Guardian, by the way, so that way it wouldn't be you know, making too much going on with visual. But anyhow, look at the health bar. You can get it to where basically as you go through your rotation, a shield that's your entire health bar. And I haven't even casted ultimate. There's Imperium and there's combat position. Now there's the ultimate, and you'll see I'm gleaming like a gleaming rainbow sphere, like a disco party. Now here's with Infernal Guardian as you see, and I wanted to show you how Infernal Guardian will proc from Imperium's proc, and it will proc from Combat Physician's proc. There's Combat Physician right there, and then there you see the Infernal Guardian mortars. And this is cool because Combat Physician will be proccing all the time on everybody. There are so many shields going out so often that Infernal Guardian, especially when you're in a group, has virtually almost no downtime. It's as soon as it can proc again, it will. So I just wanted to give an example of that. And something to note is that when you have so many damage shields put out, you can actually damage shield beyond the visible health bar to where maybe they have 40,000 damage shield. Like right now, that barrier went on top of already full damage shield. So let's jump into the champion points now and take a look at how these are distributed. Nothing in the tower and the thief. Now in the lover, we've got a lot in our magicka recovery, our stamina recovery, and even our health recovery, as well as tenacity with our heavy attack pulls with our resto staff. We get a lot more resources back. Remember, as I always say, invest into the very next decimal point above the whole number. Everything else is a waste. Tumbling and Shadow Ward, we're going to reduce the cost of our blocking and the cost of our dodge roll, helping our stamina go a little further, especially since we are using it to also cast Bone Surge. So into the blue trees now, the damage, we don't really have a lot of damage. You could tweak this to get like Erosion and Elemental Expert to make your mortars deal more damage, but we wanted more crit chance, more crit potency, and just with Blessed, thicker, juicier heals. Okay, moving into the next tree now, the Atronach. We've only really got a couple points into Staff Expert. There's nothing really here. I had 3 extra points. I believe that there's nothing really else you want. Maybe some of your heavy attack pulls. We wanted 120 points in here for our our Last Stand passive, which is going to basically give us major heroism if we fall below 20% health. Another ultimate gen source. as well as being a Nord, as well as the Pearls necklace, as well as Potentates, as well as decisive. The next tree, the Steed, the Warrior, Ironclad, that's going to reduce the direct damage percentage you take, which is most of what you're going to be concerned with in PvP. To be honest, is going to be direct damage, big bursty damage all at once. But we do end up unlocking Resilient, 75 points. When you take critical damage, you heal for 230. That's going to go a long way. It's only PvP because in PvE you cannot be crit hit. Now in the Lady, we've got Hardy and Elemental Defender as 15 points. Thick Skin 15%, light armor, extra physical resistance from that. You could tweak Hardy and Elemental Defender if you want. Critical Leech, when you deal critical damage, you're going to heal. I mean, you're not doing a ton of that, but with your heavy attack pulls, you'll be getting just a little more back if you crit heal during a heavy attack with that Resto, or with the Frost Staff. The last tree, the Warrior, the Lord, Bastion, we invested 23%. Remember, I told you Magma Shell gave 123%. There's where that 23% came from. Without it, it would just be 100. So that wraps up the CP distribution. And also is going to wrap up this build video, the Wards of the Dragon build, shield stacking healer. If you like this video and you want to see more, check out my channel. I've got a lot more content on there. Lots of other builds and cool stuff that's non-build related. So if you like that stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and you'll see the new videos coming out soon. Leave a like here if you like this one. Did I say you should like me? Go ahead and like me. But all right, guys, it's always been a good, it's fun. This is the outro. So we'll see you later. Like button before it's almost too late. Like button. Okay, bye.